I understand English, but when I have to speak, I just can't. This is a post on Reddit from an English learner, and they said, I have no problem understanding English, but as soon as I have to speak, my brain completely freezes. I know the word in my head, but I just can't get them out. How did you manage to get past it? So the question here is why people study English for years and they do actually understand it. They have all the vocabulary, they have it all, but still can't speak it. It is not because they are lazy or because they are bad at languages or they different kind of smart, but it's because they are making few very specific mistakes in how they learn. If you're new here, my name is Wisal and I'm an English teacher, and this is what we're going to speak about today. The first problem that we study English like a school subject, or actually we, at least the majority of us, studied English at school in a very, very bad way. So how do they teach us at school? At least in my country, I've been taught English by book, by memorizing grammar, memorizing vocabulary, learning how to write, learning how to read. Yes, answering questions correctly, getting a good grade. But when it comes to speaking, I didn't really get any opportunities to speak unless it's a presentation or what they call an oral exam. And what I do usually, I just memorize the words and I say them in front of the teacher and I get my grade. That's it. So when it comes to actually speaking or having a conversation in real life, I froze. That's because knowing about English and using English are two different skills. Here we have a tip that I use personally to to stop myself from freezing when I speak, which is technically speaking to yourself or at least record your voice. This is something that I did to unblock myself from speaking, to unlock my speaking skills. And it's by speaking to myself but in English. This is the first thing. And I noticed many people record themselves when speaking, which is a great way too, but I didn't do that. I recorded my voice only when I'm speaking. You can take it to the next level and record yourself like face and voice. It will put you in a situation where you are actually speaking to a person because our brain is kind of stupid. He sees your reflection on a camera and then be like, oh no, this is a person that I'm speaking to, and you get a bit of a panic attack. That's good. It will get you to not panic when you speak to actual people. Like your brain is getting too used to seeing people in front of you when you're using English. Or you can actually talk to a language partners. I would recommend many applications such as Discord. Yes, you can use Discord to speak to people or to join voice rooms. You can find a language exchange partner, which is kind of difficult but doable. So the goal here is not perfect English. The goal is to communicate, to get yourself used to speak in English, getting used to your voice in English. The second problem is fear of making mistakes. Many learners, many of my learners, including myself when I was a learner, used to be worried about making mistakes that I stopped myself from speaking. The problem is that I was into my head trying to build the perfect sentence in my head before opening my mouth. And by the time I finished thinking, the conversation has already moved on. There's a research paper that supports what I'm saying. It's named Students' Anxiety in Speaking a Foreign Language, the case of 11th graders. You can read it. It will help you a lot to understand more about the fear of speaking. The solution is to accept mistake as part of the learning process. I know it sounds corny. I know it's kind of cringe. This is what everybody says. But trust me, it really works. Instead of giving yourself a hard time because you forgot or you're confused between the simple past and the present perfect, just say the easiest thing. The most important part is to actually get yourself to be understood. That's it. So you gotta speak before you feel ready. That's the point. Second, the next problem is too much input, not enough output. First, let's talk about input and output. The input is everything you get, everything you receive, such as reading and listening. You're not trying to make an effort, you just receive the information or you receive the language by reading and listening. The output is when you're trying to force yourself or to force the language out of your brain. And the output is writing and speaking. So many people, and there are a ton of advice on this, is to watch as many videos as you can, listen to as many podcasts and music as you can in English, surround yourself in English, immerse yourself in English, which is not a bad advice at all. I support it. But people usually forget that all this input is meant for only one reason, to support the output. So when you actually have to speak or write, you will find ton of grammar and ton of vocabulary sitting in the back of your brain ready to be used. But if you're heavily listening and getting the language and not using it, it's gonna be so hard for you to actually use it after years and years of studying and listening and reading. So you consume English, but you don't use English, and that's the problem. The solution is the output. Force the language outside of your brain in one way or another. If you're too shy to speak, if you're too anxious to speak, that's okay. Try writing. And even if you don't have a language partner, you can actually speak sentences out loud. So when you're reading, try to read out loud. When you're listening to a video, try shadowing. It's a good technique. You listen to the sentence said by somebody who speaks perfect English and you try to imitate them. Try to say the same sentence in the exact same tone with the same feelings. It helps a lot. So, if you'd like more videos about language learning, common mistakes, and practical English advice, consider subscribing. And if you're looking for structured English lesson, I also teach online. You will find the details in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.